Owning a vacation home that pays for itself doesn't have to mean handing over control or handing over your profits. Today's expert episode reveals how technology has made self managing your vacation home as a short term rental easier than ever, allowing you to earn more while doing less. What if your 401k came with a fire pit and a lake view? That's the question that inspired it all. I'm Katie Klein, and living in New York City meant buying a home felt impossible. So I decided to flip the script and buy my second home first. When I'm not there, it doubles as a short-term rental, covering its costs, building equity, and even turning a profit. And best of all, it gives me a place to vacation for free. What 401k can do that? Every week, join me as we hear from real people who've done the same and experts who can help you do it too. If you thought owning any home, let alone a second one, was out of reach, this is the show for you. This is Second Home First. Okay, super quick interruption. I have been hearing from so many of you that you want more freedom in your lives, more options, and of course, more income. So I am thinking about building a course to teach you how to buy a vacation home that pays for itself. This would walk you through the exact steps that we used to buy our three vacation homes and give you direct access to me to discuss your personal circumstances directly. Let me know if this is something you'd be interested in. And if so, send me an email or a DM on Instagram and tell me what you'd want to be included. I love hearing from you. Thank you for listening. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Second Home First. I'm your host, Katie Klein, and today we have a really special expert episode for you all. If you're tuning in, I'm willing to bet that you too love the idea of owning a vacation home that pays for itself. And if you click this episode specifically, chances are you're curious about what it actually takes to manage your home as a short term rental. Maybe you're interested in hospitality. Maybe you just feel like you'd be good at it. Or maybe you simply know that by self managing, you get to keep more of your profits rather than handing them over to somebody else. Either way, you're intrigued, but you might be wondering, how would I manage it all? Or wondering whether or not you'd have the time, the bandwidth, or the technical know how in order to make it work. And that's where today's guest, Shaun Shirazian, comes in. He is the CEO of Lodgify, a short term rental software designed to simplify the management and marketing of your vacation home. Shaun breaks down how self managing a vacation rental can be far easier than most people think, especially when you have the right systems in place. We talk about how Lodgify helps hosts get more bookings with less effort, how you can spend less time managing and more time enjoying your property, and how advancements in AI are shifting this product from software to personal assistant. So, without further ado, let's hear from Shaun. Shaun, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Katie. Appreciate it.
I'm really excited for our conversation because, as you and I were talking about before we started recording, when I first bought my first vacation home, I had never heard of a property management software before in my life, which is also known as a PMS. So, can you give us a bit of like a 101 explanation of what that even means?
Yeah, absolutely. And I can relate as well as I was sharing with you back in 2011. I was living in San Diego, California, and I was renting out my spare bedroom of my condo there. And whenever I wasn't in town, I would rent out the whole condo on Airbnb. I had no idea a whole category of software like property management software existed, right? No idea. And fast forward to now, leading Lodgify and with the team here, it's amazing what I now know about the category, right? And
Yes.
ultimately, if I were to boil down what property management software is, it's software that helps short-term rental owners and operators get more bookings with less effort. Ultimately, it's
Mm,
that, right? And a lot of us got into having a short-term rental with the hopes of achieving passive income. And I remember speaking to an owner early last year, and he said, "You know what, Shaun? Like having a short-term rental is the exact opposite of passive income. It's like active income." He's like, "I'm actively involved in managing everything. I don't feel like I'm getting the maximum return on my investment. And so our software, Lodgify and software like Lodgify exists to help that.
Mhm.
And so that's how I would describe it in simple terms.
How or why would you say a vacation home owner would actually need this software?
So I oftentimes talk to customers or prospects, and I ask them to reflect on two questions, which is number one, do you believe that you are maximizing the volume and value of bookings that you're achieving from your rental?
Mm.
And then number two, do you believe that you are spending the least amount of time needed to manage your rental? And if the answer to any of those two questions is no, then you have an opportunity to consider software like property management software, because
Mm.
ultimately is there to help you in those two areas.
Wow.
Now, the other way to look at it, and this is, similar to like the analogy of using medicine or taking medicine versus vitamin,
Mhm.
right? There's a number of our customers that have had a true pain point when it comes to managing their rental. They either, came on one of the marketplaces like Airbnb or Booking.com, and they weren't achieving the occupancy rate that they wanted. And so that was a pain point. So they're like, okay, what do I do to fix this problem? And then
Mhm.
they start researching and they come across software like Logify. So that's an easier path, right? Because you have a pain point, you're looking for medicine to like solve that pain point.
Mhm.
The other group of customers, prospects that are out there that I often see are they don't really have a pain point. So it's like they have their short-term rental, they have, good, decent occupancy rate. It's not like out of this world, but at the same time, it's fine. Yes, they're spending a few hours every week responding to guests and to managing the rental, but it's not like really that painful. So there's no pain, there's no problem for them to solve. So not really looking for software. But similar to like when you're taking a vitamin, it's proactive, it's preventive. It's to try to like help you not get sick, to not have those pain points down the road. It's
Mhm.
still helpful to consider software like Logify in those scenarios as well, because you don't realize and you don't know what you don't know. You don't realize that, hey, actually, by starting to list on more than one marketplace, I can increase my occupancy rate by at least 25% potentially.
Mhm.
Or I can think about pricing in a whole more sophisticated way. Or, hey, the amount of time that I'm spending responding to guests with the same questions can be reduced significantly. And this adds up as I want to scale. And so I think really reflecting on those two questions, are you getting the most from your rental from a volume and value standpoint of bookings? And are you spending the least amount of time that you think needed on it?
We'll be right back after a quick word from our sponsors. When I was finally ready to rent out my vacation home, I had no idea what to charge guests. Thankfully, that's when I found Price Labs, a dynamic pricing tool that helps me automate pricing like a pro. It's simple. Price Labs uses real time data to automatically adjust my rates based on local demand, nearby events, and booking trends. It's easy to use, lets me set my own minimum and maximum prices, and keeps my pricing smart and competitive without any manual work. If you want your vacation home to pay for itself or even turn a profit, you need Price Labs to help you get the most from every booking. Visit the link in the show notes and enter code Second Home First, all one word, for a 30-day free trial plus $10 off your first invoice. Finding the right cleaning team has been absolutely crucial to the success of my second homes. They're my eyes and ears on the property when I'm not there, spotting issues early, keeping standards high, and helping me wow guests time and again. But finding someone local you actually trust, that wasn't always easy until I found Turno. Turno connects you with vetted cleaners who understand the demands of short term rentals in your specific market. Their app makes everything simple, from auto scheduling your cleans to photo and video checklists that ensure your property looks exactly the way you want, and even automatic payments after each clean is completed. Click the link in the show notes to check out Turno and get $25 off your first cleaning. And now back to the show. That's huge. And even for people listening or watching who aren't even thinking about scaling, they just want to have one vacation home. I think what you said at the beginning is so crucial that you're not getting into this to give yourself another job. So you want to, if you're choosing to go down the self-management path, which I do personally, I do it remotely. You're able to keep all of your profit in that case. So I think that's great. And with a tool like Lodgify, it actually makes it really possible to do all of this. If you're going down that route, you want to really simplify this because you don't want to be spending all of your extra time doing things like this. And when you talked about pain point, that was really what led me to Lodgify in the first place was in my very kind of 101 phase when I had one vacation home. I didn't even think about having the second at that point. What I learned that I didn't know before owning the property is if I was what people call cross listing, so putting my vacation home on Airbnb and Verbo, for example, I needed those calendars to be able to talk to each other so that if in the middle of the night someone booked my property through Airbnb, it wasn't still available to be booked on Verbo because as we know, if you then have to cancel one of your guests, you get really dinged by the OTAs as you should, right? As a traveler, we don't want the place that we're staying being able to easily cancel on us either. So that I think for those of us who are just starting out, that's an amazing feature that Lodgify has to be able to immediately block your calendars on the other places that you're listed. And then, like you said, you're getting potentially double the eyeballs or at least an increase in eyeballs of certain people who only shop on Airbnb or only shop on Verbo.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. That's this a lot of times our customers and prospects in the space, owners, they it's this fear of double booking, right? That you're
Mhm.
describing right now, right? And like what if I have, the calendars get messed up and I get double booked and what's the experience? I don't want to let those guests, have a horrible experience like that and then I'm gonna get dinged. So yeah, they definitely don't wanna get into that, and that's where software like Logify can help.
How tech savvy do you think people need to be in order to use Lodgify? Because I think when we use the word software, that can intimidate people.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially now with AI, we are really changing the way we think about and even describe Logify, and I know many others across the tech space are doing it, right? And really, ultimately, we want to move from just being a software to really an assistant, right? And if you
Mm,
think about it, this last 10, 20 years of tech has been described as software as a service and you went to products, you did a bunch of work as a user of the products, and you got benefit out of it. We're moving to a world now, which is service as a software, where ultimately the software does the work for you. It's delivering the outcomes for you. So just as if you were to go use a property manager today to outsource a lot of the tasks when it comes to managing your property, marketing it, etc., in the future, over time, our software can do more and more of that. So it can deliver
mhm,
the outcome just as a property manager is doing today. And so
mhm,
that's the direction we're headed. And when it comes to like how tech savvy do you need to be? So Logify has been around 13 years. And for these 13 years, we've been exclusively focused on independent hosts and small scale property managers that have a handful of properties. So we're not after large scale property managers that have hundreds of properties. We're really after those that have a few. They're looking at this as passive income. This is not their day job for most of our customers. And so, in order to deliver real value and benefit to those customers, we have had to spend years making it incredibly easy to use. And
mhm,
making software easy to use is not easy. and so,
mhm.
and so definitely, we pride ourselves in that. It is an easy to use software. That being said, we know anything new can be challenging. And so, we offer free onboarding. We have an incredible support team that's there as a safety net in case you need it as well.
Yes, your onboarding was incredible. Like it was a true one-to-one experience. Brian from your team, amazing, sitting with me and walking me through the functionality and answering my questions to my property specifically and the way that I use things specifically. I think that is such an incredible, incredible thing that you offer to your customers.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we capture obviously customer feedback in a number of ways, but if I were to like summarize the top themes of what customers love about Lodgify. Number one is ease of use, and like a close second, like tied with that, is our support and onboarding team,
Yeah.
right? The human connection, the care, the support that they can get from our team, it stands out quite a bit from for our customers.
Yeah, yeah, and even as I use it, my needs are starting to evolve, and I actually just reached out to the team the other day and was like, "Hey, can I grab some time with somebody?" And they were like, "Absolutely." So I just feel like that attention to detail, that hand-holding for us, and like you said, really focused on the independent owners for, some of us are gonna have different goals. Some people are gonna say, "I don't actually wanna maximize my bookings in summer because I wanna be there and I wanna use that place a lot in the summer." Whereas other people are gonna say, "I'm traveling a ton. Let me make as much money during the summer period so that then I don't have to worry about it for the rest of the year." So I just love how tailored you can be. You talked a bit about like the what we call channel manager. So essentially making sure you're not getting double booked across Verbo and Airbnb, that your calendars are synced. What are other functions or functionality that Lodgify gives its owners to use?
Yeah. I would describe it in like two buckets related to the ultimate benefits that we deliver. So if we think about the more bookings with less effort. So let's think about more bookings. That what we do, what functionality we offer to help our customers with more bookings is the channel manager that you mentioned. And related to the channel manager, which was actually the origin feature, the killer feature of Logify when it started, was helping independent owners set up their own direct booking website.
Mhm.
And so actually the origin story of Lodgify was our founders of the company were inspired by Shopify and how easy Shopify made it to set up your own e-commerce website. And said,
Mm.
"Hey, we want to do the same thing for your vacation rental."
Mhm.
And so the name Lodgify, our company, comes from Shopify. We want to be the Shopify of lodging.
Love it.
And for many years, all we did was that one thing, which was help vacation rental owners set up their direct booking website. And it wasn't until midway through our history that we actually got into helping you now post that on the different marketplaces and a true channel manager and property management software. And so as a part of that channel management functionality, we help you set up your own direct booking website in a very easy to use, drag and drop, like fashion, so that you've got it on the major marketplaces. You have your own direct booking website so that customers that come to you, let's say from the marketplaces, you can always encourage to book with you again the next time directly through your own direct booking website. The other piece of functionality that we have in this more bookings is related to pricing. So we have our own pricing tool to help you think about how you should price your rental, but then also we allow you to connect. Let's say you have a favorite that you're using or have heard about from friends and other hosts. You can plug that into Lodgify as well. So those are the main ones in the more bookings. Now, when it comes to helping you do that with less effort,
Mhm.
a number of things here. Number one is the unified inbox, right? This is all of your guest messages with prospective guests and guests that are booked with you are there, so that the responsiveness is really important when it comes to your guest experience, and so we want to make sure to make that as easy as possible. And
Mhm.
then there's a number of automation and AI tools that we have related to messaging, but then also related to kind of core workflows that you may be going through. So, for example, let's say that a day or so before check in is when you really want to send in a set of like pre-check-in instructions, or get ready for your stay guide that you want to share with your upcoming guests. Well, you can just set that to automatically send out for all of your up and coming guests one day before check-in. Same
Mhm.
thing when on checkout and these sorts of things. So these are a few of the examples and how we're helping our customers with the more bookings and less effort.
We'll be right back after a quick word from our sponsors. Interior design is one of my favorite parts of buying a second home. I love creating a beautiful space. But let's be honest, staying on budget, managing orders, tracking deliveries, and juggling countless retailers can get overwhelming fast, which is why so many hosts turn to Minoan. With Minoan, you can shop more than 180 brands you love all in one place. That's brands like Crate and Barrel, Samsung, Anthropologie, Article, Casper, and so many more. They give you access to better than trade pricing, something typically reserved for professional designers, allowing you to save on every purchase. They keep every order, delivery, and receipt organized in one clean dashboard. And the best part, there's no membership fee, no subscription, no catch, just a streamlined approach with big savings. Once your second home is set up, Minoan can even make it shoppable. Your place basically becomes a four walled influencer. So after guests spend a weekend obsessing over your couch or those sheets or that coffee maker, they can scan your QR code and order the exact same item for their own home. You earn a commission, no extra work required. To furnish smarter, visit minoan.com/second home to sign up and receive a free $25 in credit. You finally bought your dream vacation home. Now what? Your goal is for it to pay for itself, but between managing bookings, guest messages, and cleaners, it can feel like a full time job. That's where Lodgify comes in. Lodgify is a comprehensive vacation rental platform that makes it easy to manage and market your second home, even if you're just getting started. From syncing your calendar across Airbnb, Vrbo, and Booking.com to automating payments and guest communication, Lodgify simplifies it all. It's built for beginners and comes with free one on one onboarding to help you get up and running fast. To make your second home start working for you, visit the link in the show notes and use code SHF20, that's S as in second, H as in home, F as in first, 20, to receive an additional 20% off their yearly and bi-yearly plans. If you're listening to this show, I know making memories with family and friends is super important to you. And that's why I'm excited to introduce you to Flightographer. Flightographer connects travelers with local photographers in more than 350 destinations around the world. But it's more than just a photo shoot. It's a way to capture meaningful memories and experience a place through a local's lens. When I look back on past Flightographer photo shoots I've done, I don't just see pictures, but special moments preserved. I remember the feeling of that day and the story behind every shot. Whether you're celebrating a milestone birthday, a family vacation, or a special getaway to your second home, Flightographer is there to capture the moments you never want to forget. To book your own Flightographer shoot, visit the link in the show notes and use code SHF25. That's S as in second, H as in home, F as in first, 25 to get $25 off your first shoot. And now back to the show. Love that. And, there are other PMSs on the market. And you touched on earlier about what customers love about Lodgify. But why do you think vacation homeowners should choose Lodgify over your competitors?
Yeah. I would say, number one, if you're an independent host, owner, operator that has one or a handful of short-term rentals, we are the only one in the space that has been exclusively focused on this segment for the last 13 years.
Hmm.
A number of our competitors have started up market, have come down, or started down market and have gone up. The majority of their customers are not in this segment. We're the only one that has been exclusively focused here. And so, but what does that mean? So yes, it's great we've got the 10 year Sean, but what does that actually mean? Well, that means that we have the experience and the time needed to really make the software as easy to use as
Hmm.
possible. And we have the team that has been supporting this customer profile for this number of years that is able to deliver the kind of service that we talked about earlier. The other thing that I believe differentiates us is affordability. At the end of the day, as you I know share with your listeners, ultimately you want to make a return and on your property. And so the more costs you add into the equation, the more that takes away from your return. And so if
Yes.
you're starting to implement really expensive software to do this, then it's obviously going to eat away at the margins that you can get. And so our
Yes.
software is incredibly affordable given the segment of market that we go after. And so when you combine that with the ease of use and the service that we offer, those are the things that really differentiate us.
Yeah, I think that's so true. And even in my example, like when I first started using Lodgify, my sole purpose was just the channel manager, just the calendar syncing, right? So you don't really want to spend too much money just for that. But now as I've acquired new properties, as I started to get a bit more sophisticated in how I want to think about this, I really love everything you're talking about with like less time. I want to be more efficient because especially now with 3 properties and a fourth that I'm co-hosting, all of these things can really add up in time. And that's again not why I got into this. I bought this vacation home to make memories with my family and friends. And by renting it out, that is what allows me to afford it and now build wealth off of that as well. So, using a software like Logify that can cut down on the amount of time that I am taking care of my guests, but not having them feel the difference, that is huge.
Absolutely.
My final
Absolutely.
question for you would be there's going to be listeners and viewers who potentially want to go the co host route or want to go the property manager route because they don't want to deal with messaging guests or scheduling cleaners and doing all of those things. But then there's going to be a group of us, like myself, who want to self manage. We want to keep as much money as possible. And personally, for me, I like taking care of my guests. I like hearing about why they're visiting. I like hearing how my vacation home is now a part of their memories, their stories. So, what would you say to people who are maybe interested in self managing but nervous? Like, how could I do it from afar? Or is it going to take up too much time? Or how would I even get started? Like, what would be your advice to them?
One of the things that I saw when I was a host, and I've seen so much now, is the power of this community, the power of the community of independent hosts that are out there like yourself. Like, it's incredible the amount of support and advice and coaching that you can find out there through podcasts like yours, through community groups on Facebook or online, on Reddit, or at conferences. I'm just amazed, all there is out there, and
Mhm.
so I'd encourage anyone that's thinking about is go into one of these groups or listen to some of these podcasts, and you'll quickly hear from others that were just like you a few years ago and that have taken the jump and that leap and what they've learned from it. And so I really encourage because I find the community so receptive, so willing to kind of give back and to share. And so I think it's a no better place to learn.
Such excellent advice, Sean. Thank you so much for your time today.
Yes. No, thank you, Katie.
Thanks for listening to Second Home First. If you liked what you heard today, be sure to sign up for my free weekly newsletter at buyyoursecondhomefirst.com, where I share the simple 4-step strategy to help you do the same. If you have a minute to subscribe, rate, or review the show, or even send a favorite episode to a friend, that would mean the absolute world to me. And if you want to be a guest on the show, have a question you want answered, or a topic you think I should cover, send me a note at hello@buyyoursecondhomefirst.com or on social media at buyyoursecondhomefirst. I personally read and respond to every single message. Once again, I'm your host, Katie Klein, and I can't wait to see you all again next week. The content shared on Second Home First is for educational and informational purposes only. Please consult a licensed financial advisor before making any investment or financial decisions.